Okay, so now we're going to talk about one of those uncomfortable conversations.
Choking,
which will eventually lead into CPR, but this is specifically for choking and prevention.
Yeah.
Why don't you go into that?
Well, it's just so stressful. Do you feel your anxiety like rising, like, choking, and you do this little freak out? And I know for me, that's where I lack confidence, is like, what would happen if my child was choking? What would I do? And it can be really stressful. So our goal today is to get you from the stress and the fear
to
prepared.
So that if it happens, you don't freeze, you are active and you go and you fix the problem.
And you're confident and ready to go. So first off, let's talk about choking hazards. We all know like hard fruits and vegetables need to be cut up really, really tiny or not given until they're older. Whole grapes for sure need to be cut up.
Like in quarters.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think half C's is sufficient. I think grapes need to be in quarters.
Yeah.
And hot dogs.
And hot dogs, that's another big
Yes.
one. Mm-hmm. Hot dogs, even like string cheese, instead of having them like bite off a chunk, like peel it off and eat it in little pieces. But yeah.
Which is the more fun way to eat string cheese, if you ask me.
Apples, marshmallows, nuts, raisins, chips, pretzels, chunks of meat and cheese, all these things.
So food in general.
Anything they eat.
You just need to be mindful of what they're eating, the size of it, and how easy or hard it's going to be for them to get it into their tummy.
Peanut butter is another one. Yeah, just clogs it up. Yeah. So be aware of those. Try not to give them, and if you do, just be aware. Have that supervision in place, and again, small pieces. Get it cut up. So
perfect.
Tips to eating safely. This one's with my kids. No laughing. Eat when they're sitting up. No laughing. No crying when they're eating. And we were talking not in the car seat or in the stroller.
Who doesn't feed their kid in a car seat while they're driving? Like, you don't want to have a screaming toddler in the back when you're driving because that's very distracting. So what do? We give them goldfish.
Something to shut them up.
Yes. Okay, so what do we do about that?
Oh, we're just talking something soft like applesauce, and then just having that supervision. If you're driving, like what's going on back there?
Be mindful. Yes.
Be mindful of it.
We were talking about having the little mirror, the kitty mirror, that makes it so you've got your rear view, and then you can also look and see what your little one is doing. So just be mindful and aware of what's going on. We talk about the what if scenarios. How are you going to respond if your child happens to be choking while you're driving in the car? So be thinking about that. Is it a safe place for you to pull over? Where would you pull over? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, what would I do if they started choking right now? And just being ready at all times. So
okay.
Yeah, okay. Then common choking hazards around your house. Magnets are a really big one. Batteries, buttons, beads, marbles,
toys,
balloons,
everything,
crayons
in your child's room. And if you don't see it, they'll find it for you.
Jewelry,
pills.
Yeah,
we have lots of kids that choke on pills.
Art supplies, coins, money. Yeah, just there's so many. So how do you know what is safe and what's not, and how do you live if everything around you is a choking hazard? And I really love the toilet paper roll. I mean, you can actually buy like choking testers, but why
don't do that?
So a toilet paper roll, if it can fit inside of a toilet paper roll, it's a choking hazard and it's too small. So keep that in mind. A pill bottle would work too. Just anything small.
Yes.
When in doubt, throw it out. It's not worth it, or keep it up.
Right. Just again, be aware of where your child is, what they're playing with, what they're putting in their mouth. It's hard because I think I wanted to take a shower. That was like the goal of my day when I had the little list of littles. I just wanted to take a shower. So I was notorious for hooking my child up in her car seat and putting her outside of the bathroom because that's my space. Everybody is different. Some are cool with it, some are not. I'm a not. And so she was out there and I'd give her toys. I would know that she was fed. She would probably be taking a nap soon. And then I would go take my shower and enjoy. But I knew she was safe is my point. So make sure your kids are safe.
Yeah.
Did you ever
Just
do
keep
that? Did you ever strap them in outside of your
I did, but on the other side of the shower curtain, so I could peek out and make sure they were okay.
Yes.
You do what you gotta do.
You
to
do
survive.
what you gotta do. You can even put one of the baby monitors. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't have those with number 1 or number 2, but they've got the camera.
Yeah.
You can see them. That's crazy to me. I have even to this day, I have the old fashioned make noise in there. I hear it. Husband gets up.
All right, Stacey, what are the signs that your baby is choking?
Okay, so your baby will likely stop responding appropriately. They could have like blue around their lips or be coughing, means that they've got a little bit of air moving if they can cough, but you will see that your child is in distress. Typically, I feel like their faces turn like reddish, purplish. So if that's happening with your babies, it's a little bit different. The universal sign for choking is this, and you'll get that more with your toddler. It's such a natural response. It's stuck right here. So anything around that. But for your babies, be watching for the facial changes. Something isn't right. You know your baby. You know what's normal. Go pick them up and act.
Yeah, because at that point, they're not going to be crying. They're not going to be making any noise.
If they're crying, they're breathing. That's the rule.
Right.
So if they're not crying and they look like they're in distress.
Yeah, they won't be crying. They won't be coughing. They won't be making any noise.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the case. Baby's choking. What do we do?
All right, so you need to pick up your baby. We're going to use my son's teddy bear, Carson, named after his favorite cousin, Carson, that lives in South Carolina. Anyway, so your baby, you can, AHA wants you to, baby, are you okay? You're going to be yelling at your baby, telling him to breathe anyway, so that's fine. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to you need to support their head. You don't want them flopping and closing off that airway. So the first thing you're gonna do, you need to also be sitting. It's kind of hard to see on that, sorry.
Well, I have a question.
Oh.
If we see the baby choking, can we just reach our finger in?
So if you can see what's in there, you can reach your finger in, but you do not wanna do a blind sweep.
Okay.
Because you might push it back farther and cause more problems. So if you see it, absolutely. Try and get that sucker out, but if not,
don't just start digging in
there. You'll push it down, make it even harder to get out.
Okay.
Okay, now we're
Carry
ready.
on.
Sorry.
Yes, now we're ready.
All right, so supporting the head and the neck with your thumb and your index finger. I think for this one, I would do it on your, we call it like your weaker side. You need to be using your knee to do this so that you've got some good support, and you're going to give 5 back blows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is really important. You don't want to just do it soft, okay? You are trying to force it out, and you're doing this in between the shoulder blades using the heel of your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And you're kind of
pushing like in and up.
And
Right. And then after those 5, you're gonna flip them over, okay? And you're going to do it on the chest now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And go ahead.
Well, are you like,
so you're
between
their nipples and maybe a little bit lower. And it's very similar actually to doing chest compressions. The point though is to force whatever it is out. So you do that 5 times. Any other questions with that?
And you're doing your fingers on this one?
Doing your fingers.
Okay.
2 fingers.
So 5 on the back,
5 on the back, 5 on the front, and flip them over. And you're gonna keep doing this until something comes out or until they stop being responsive. So now they're...
Okay, so ideally it just comes out and you're
like,
yay! And you give them a big hug and
right.
you're crying.
And you're crying. You will cry for it. And that's fine.
Yeah.
And you share that moment. Okay. For the bigger kids though.
Yeah.
So I think that more than our little babies, because we're typically giving them rice cereal and those pureed fruits, but our toddlers are a little bit different because they are getting into everything. So if you are super strong and you can do this, then that's fine. But typically, once they hit a year, they're a little bit heavy for this this hand holding position, the arm holding position. So you're actually going to do the abdominal thrusts. And the way that you do that is you're gonna have your thumb on top and you're gonna, like this. How's the best way for me to explain this? Cup your hand.
Yeah.
And you're gonna get behind your child and you're gonna do abdominal thrusts. And these ones go in and back towards you, okay? So you're just gonna keep doing that until either it comes out or we need to progress to the next step. So, and that's the same as adults.
So there is no like 5 and then 5 and
you're just gonna keep on doing that until
Right.
it comes out or
Yeah.
until they call it falling out in the South, until they are
prostrate on the ground.
Yes, they need more.
Okay.
Good?
Yeah. And hopefully they just throw up, everything comes up, and then they're breathing.
Right.
And you're good to go.
Right.
Okay. So we'll get into more CPR if they pass out in just a moment. But as far as like brain damage goes, it's you've got like what, 0 to 4 minutes. It's unlikely that they will have any kind of brain damage if they've been choking.
Yes.
If it's longer than that, I think 4 to 6 minutes, brain damage is possible, and then 6 to 10 minutes, that's when the brain damage is highly probable. So if you know what to do, and now you do,
Right.
you can just jump in there and save your baby's life. And because waiting for the ambulance is it's not gonna.
You don't know how long it's going to take them. You need to be ready to act. And if that means getting your kid's teddy bear or doll or something, then do that. Because if you have practiced, then the muscle memory will happen and you will be far more prepared to jump in there. Not only just with your children, but potentially to help somebody else's kids or somebody else.
Yeah, absolutely. Just at a restaurant, anytime, right?
We just don't want you to ever do nothing.
Yeah.
Do something. Act. Try and do it yourself because it is surprisingly effective. I was telling Julie earlier, I've actually done the Heimlich on somebody. I thought that they were kidding, but they grabbed their throat and they were saying that they were choking without speaking. And so I did. I went over and I did the Heimlich and it worked. And woo! It's awesome. So if you have to save a life, then save a life. But if you prepare, then you're better off.
Yeah. One thing we never talked about is calling 911. Do we call 911 and at what point?
Hopefully you can get it out on your own at any moment that you can call 911. We all have Alexas. Alexas call 911, don't they? I don't have an
think
Alexa,
so. Yeah.
but my family members do, and I'm sure that they can do it. I personally would call as soon as I can, but I am not going to not do the blows or the chest thrust, the abdominal thrust. I'm not going to skip over those so that I can go have a conversation. However, if you struggle, if you call 911, that dispatcher has been trained to walk you through it and tell you exactly what to do until EMS gets there. So maybe that's something you can think about beforehand. If something happens, are you going to know what to do, or do you think you need to make sure that you walk through how to call dispatch? Because things are a little different when you're nervous, when your anxiety is up and your adrenaline is rushing up. So you need to know how you're going to respond. If your child is choking, then no, I'm just going to call 911 really quick and get them on speakerphone, and then I'm going to go to town on doing the back thrusts and all of that. So again, what ifing is my favorite
Could
thing.
happen,
So prepare.
Yeah,
Plan
prepare, and then afterwards, just keep an eye on them. Make sure that they're breathing okay. If they have like a lingering cough or issues, just keep an eye on them. Make sure they're okay.
Right.
That they've recovered.
Right. And if they're doing fine, but nothing came out, be mindful that something could still be in there, and they just might be able to get their airway clear enough that it's not really bugging them right now. But you probably will want to at least have them seen at the pediatrician. But if they're back to running around, you saw the grape or corn dog or whatever it is come out,
You're good.
it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. So it's up to you. Follow up with the pediatrician as necessary.
Yeah.
Anything
You got
else?
this. You can do
this.
it. You can do this.
We are moms and we are good.
And we're good at doing hard things.
That's right.
Because being a mom is hard. Anyway.
Perfect.
All right. Thanks.
See you next time.